guys, it's Nurse J at Nursing the Truth. I hope everyone is having a great day. So I have been working very hard and I've been taking some time off resting, and it is so good to be back with my lovely people. So, there's so many things that I would love to discuss and talk about, and so many books and so many things I've been reading since the last time I was with you guys. And wow, it's going to be an awesome time here shortly. So let's dig straight on in to some things. Now, don't kill me. I am just the messenger. I find things, I bring it to you guys' attention, and then that will maybe or hopefully lead you to your path of your own on figuring things out on what you think is really not right or something suspicious. So let's talk about Joshua, right? So we're going to talk about Joshua in the Bible. And first and foremost, we're going to say what we've learned in the scriptures. Okay, so we have Moses that led the Israelites and or the Hebrews, or whatever you want to call them, out of Egypt because they were in slavery and bondage, and God said to let my people go. Okay, so we all know that story. And Moses dies, and Joshua and Caleb take over to the promised land. Moses never got to get to the promised land. Only Joshua and Caleb helped them get there and then massacre people by the thousands. Men, women, children, and animals, because this God wanted them to do that. Kind of sick, isn't it? So anyway, let's talk about this name. Well, if you read your scriptures very carefully, Moses changes the name. Actually, this name in the King James Bible was called Hosea with an H or an O. And he changes it to Joshua. So, if you go to search this out. It says Hosea is a Hebrew name, Isis Greek, Jeshua Aramaic, Oshia is Hebrew, Yehoshua Hebrew, Yeshua Hebrew are old forms of Joshua. Isn't that interesting? So you mean we can say Isus, Yehoshua, Yeshua, Oshea, and it's Joshua. And so if you were in that tongue, you would understand. Very interesting. Well, if you get your King James Bible, praise God, and you turn to Joshua, I found something very interesting. It says, quote unquote, Joshua, the first of the 12 historical books of Joshua Esther, forges a link between the Pentateuch and the remainder of Israel's history through 3 major military campaigns involving more than 30 enemy armies. The people of Israel learn a crucial lesson under Joshua's capable leadership. Victory comes through the faith in God and obedience to his word rather than through military might or numerical superiority. The title of this book is appropriately named after its central figure, Joshua. So this book is named after its figure, Joshua. His original name is Hosea, salvation, which is in Numbers 13:8, but Moses evidently changes it to Yehoshua. Yahweh is salvation, Numbers 13:16. He is also called Yeshua. a shortened form of Yahushua. This is the Hebrew equivalent of the Greek name Iesus, Jesus. Thus, the Greek title given to the book in the Septuagint is Iesus Nos, Joshua the son of Nun. The Latin title is Liber Joshu, the book of Joshua. His name is symbolic of the fact that although he is the leader of the Israelite nation during the conquest, he is the Lord of the conqueror. When I read this, I said to myself, so we now have two Yeshuas, two Jesuses, two Yahushua. How can it be that Joshua, the leader of this brigade, by the King James Version, says that he is salvation, and that Joshua, Yahweh, is salvation? But I thought Jesus of the New Testament was Yahweh is salvation, and he is the way. Well, as we know in the book of Joshua, this God said to send out spies and see what's going on in these places. And he goes and slaughters and kills and does what he does. Now, as we do know in the archaeological evidence, that this Jericho had already been long gone, destroyed, this, that, and the third, 300 years prior to the story. You see, because we have people that wrote this, and they like to lie a lot. So now, if you like history, like I do, I'm going to prove something to you. Now, don't get angry with me. Don't blaspheme me, because if you don't know historical facts from fiction, that's not my problem. If you want to believe a preacher man behind the pulpit that's pulling you into the pit, and you can't see no way, no how, then I can't help you. But my job is to put historical evidence against a written theme or story or a legend, however you want to put it. Because in this book, we do have some truth mixed in with a bunch of lies, and you have to pick the truth and know the truth, and when you find the truth, then the truth shall set you free. And as you know, all my truth-seeking friends, you know that I'm all about Egypt. All about Egyptian spirituality. They made them look like they were bad devils. But why would you want to take from the devils and make your holy story? See, that's what I'm here to expose. You see, Egypt, the devils, the slave holders, the whippings on your back, and we've had your people for 430 years. Bullcrap. Now, every nation did take people captives. just as they do today. So, war. The United States takes people in captivity. They question them. They put them in jail like Gitmo. Guantanamo Bay. We're no different, friends. This same thing has been going on since the beginning of the times. So, now we have Joshua, the leader of this brigade. He has these people, and he is called Yahweh is salvation. And he is Yeshua, Jesus. Now, let's look at in their own context, in their own website. I'm getting it, folks. Just bear with me. I have a lot of windows open up on my phone. Okay, here we go. If you go to chabad.org, chabad.org, you will find the dates that they say Joshua lived and died. Joshua was born at 1355 and he died in 1245 BCE. Joshua, now this is off their website. Joshua was born as Hosea ben Nun in Egypt. That should ring a bell. Born in Egypt, son of Nun. You ought to know who Nun is. Like Moses, Joshua was hidden in the Nile after birth to escape the decree of the little children being dead. In 1312 BCE, he was one of the 12 spies dispatched by Moses to scout the land of Canaan in preparation for its conquest by the children of Israel. Now, why did God have to send out people for a conquest when all God had to do was take his hand or his breath and blow it to smithereens? If God told you that was going to be your land, he had already had it ready, made for you. You wouldn't have to kill for it, you dumbass people. See, people don't think anymore. Moses, dying at 1273 BCE. He succeeded Moses as the leader. And Joshua led the people in battle, defeating 31 kings and conquering their cities and territories, which comprised the bulk of the land west of the Jordan. For 7 years after that, Joshua oversaw the process of dividing the land amongst the 12 tribes. He passed away on the 26th day of Nisan, which would be 1245 at the age of 110. Okay. Now, why is Nurse J going through Joshua? And why am I bringing out the years of Joshua's Canaan conquest? Why? What does this have to do with Egypt? Well, my friends, I am going to tell you why. If you don't know history, you will be a blind child. See, anyone can tell you anything if you don't read, if you have no education. And education and knowledge is powerful, friends. Don't come to me with your crap, because Nurse J will stomp you in the freaking ground. Especially when it comes to my country. Now, let's get with it, friends. And when I am done with this video, and you look for yourselves what I'm showing you, and this is off of their website of what they teach, and what is spilled down through Christianity, through Catholicism, and Protestantism. So, let's get with it, friends. As I always say, truth will set you free. I'm getting on my websites here, friends, so just bear with me. Thutmose III. In 1479 BCE, he becomes pharaoh, and he reorganizes the empire according to an efficient military bureaucracy. 1458 BCE, Thutmose III defeats the Mitannies and conquers Syria, the peak of Egyptian power. Where is Syria, my friends? In the old world. Canaan. (1391). Amenhotep becomes pharaoh and builds the palace complex near Thebes and the temple of Amun at Luxor, which I've had the privilege of being there and touching it. Now, Egypt is still ruling Canaan. And they pay tribute to Egypt for taxes. So, in 1353 BCE, Akhenaten, that dumbass that I can't stand, he became pharaoh and married Nefertiti and builds the new capital at Amarna, north of Thebes, dedicated to the god Aten, banishing all other gods. But Joshua was born in 1355, 2 years prior to Akhenaten. And during Akhenaten's reign, Egypt was over Canaan. (1333 BCE). King Tut becomes the pharaoh. Egypt still ruling Canaan. (1323 BCE). Tut is killed at 19 and is buried in the Valley of the Kings at Thebes, which I stood right beside him and had a picture. And I'm going to show you that picture, my friends, before we get off of this video. (1319 BCE). General Horemheb becomes pharaoh, destroys Amarna. Good riddance, that's what I say, and reestablishes order in Egypt and moves the capital back to Memphis because he was buried at Saqqara. And in 1307, Horemheb dies, and his Amun high priest Ramesses I becomes pharaoh and starts the 19th dynasty and moves the capital to his hometown of Avaris. Yes! (1306), Ramesses I dies, and it's succeeded by his son Seti I. (1300), Egyptians built a canal connecting the Nile and the Red Sea. (1290), Seti I dies, having built the largest tomb in the Valley of the Kings and the largest monument at Abydos. And his son Ramesses II succeeds him and married to Nefertari. 1275, the Egyptian king Ramesses II fights against the Hittite king Muwatalli at the city of Kadesh in Syria. Where is that at? Didn't I already give you a history lesson? Canaan. And Ramesses II, he fought. And he fought victoriously. And let's see. I have this book called the Hosea of the prayers of these kings. And I should have had this already marked. Maybe I'm trying to see what he says at this battle. This battle was very fierce and victorious. And let's see if I can find it for you. If I can't, I'll have to do another video on that. Let's see. I thought I had it in here. Anyway, he gives a beautiful, beautiful prayer to the God. He was all alone. He felt like everyone had abandoned him, and he called upon the great God. And God delivered him through this battle against this king of Syria in Kadesh. 1250 BCE, Ramesses II transfers the capital to Pi Ramesses in the Delta, builds 2 temples at Abu Simbel, the Colossus at Memphis, the Hypostyle Hall of the Karnak Temple at Luxor, and a huge tomb at Thebes. And Ramesses II dies in 1224 BCE. Let me tell you, friends, where I'm going with this. Joshua is born at 1355 and dies at 1245. Egypt ruled Canaan. He was born 2 years prior to Akhenaten being Pharaoh. And Akhenaten has the Amarna letters where they were under Egyptian rule. Amenhotep, Akhenaten, had Canaan. Tut had Canaan. Horemheb had Canaan. Seti first had Canaan. Ramesses the first had Canaan. And in 1275, he fought at the Battle of Kadesh and was victorious. And it was under Egyptian rule. And between 1275 and 1250, and Joshua dies at 1245, you mean to tell me Joshua is going to come in and come into Egyptians' Canaan and slaughter every man, woman, and child? You got another thing coming, buddy. Egypt had Canaan. And if you think by 1 second they were going to stand by and let some asshole come into their vassal state and come killing without any defense, you have a problem. You better know your history, people. Do you honestly think that some guy with a bunch of arrows and chariots were gonna just leave Egypt to go to Egypt? When they had garrisons all along from the Delta Nile, and even had a garrison in Jerusalem or Jerusalem. Why do you think that they had so many artifacts and buildings there in Canaan? Egyptians? Because they lived there. That's like today. In the United States of America, This is Louisiana. Do you think that the Louisiana National Guard would just let us Louisianians get killed from some asshole in Mexico? And that they would kill everybody in here without doing anything? People, let me tell you something. First of all, the Egyptian garrisons were there. Canaan was a vassal state. If they saw anything suspicious, they would plow them down. So don't let anybody tell you that this Holy Ghost Joshua and this Moses BS really happened, because it didn't. If anything, it was Canaanites fighting at a later time. Or the Greeks fighting. Because the Greeks wrote this thing. The Greeks, under Ptolemies, wrote the Septuagint. So, hope you've been very impressed, friends. Why would an Egyptian Joshua, born in Egypt, go to Egypt and slaughter his own kinsmen? So until next time, I hope you've enjoyed this enlightened video. And I dare anyone to dispute this information. Go to Chabad.org. Also, what I read to you about the kings, you can go to SCARUFFI.com. And if you don't like it, I don't give a damn, because this is the Truth Channel, people. Hotep and Ashe, my friends. And this video is to Tahuti. God bless.